Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. We are looking at Tesla once again. This has got to be one of the most requested and the most viewed stocks on this show over the course of its history. Now, if we're looking at Tesla, one of the things that specifically I want to point out is that if you've watched my previous videos this week, we have seen a slight turnaround over the 1 day, 5 day, and 15 day. We're actually positive on Tesla. Now, if you watched my previous videos, I was saying we are at a great spot to short it. I don't disagree with myself still, because when I look at this from the 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, and 1 year, we are down negatively. And if you look at this essential chart that I built on the side here, the high that we really saw that's been recent was back in December of 2023. That's nearly a quarter ago. Actually, to the day, that's 90 days ago in market terms, because today's the 27th. We've seen the deterioration in the overall trend, the overall price, and generally, I'd say the sentiment in the market. Now, if we go ahead and look at the raw data here, the thing that I do find to be really kind of encouraging right now is that you're seeing green background with black lettering. That means we are now in the normal distribution range. We are not. We are just above the 5 day moving average right now. We have just reclaimed over the 23 day moving average in Tesla, which is very positive to see. We do see that we've seen a little bit of the volume return. We're over 100 million shares as of yesterday, 80 million shares today. It does look like we see that there is still a price to fall. That's because we have a rising volatility most likely, and we still have a negative negative correlation to it. Now, we do see, again, what I mentioned already, the 1 day, 5 day, and 15 day turning positive. We're still down 11% nearly on the 1 month rolling return and 27+% on the 3 month and 31% on the 6 month. Yikes. The positives that we do see, again, we see in the short term, we see one go long. We do not see any other confirming signals. We see one bullish on the short term and no other confirming signals in the trend at the moment. If we're looking at the rolling sentiment, we can see that it does look like that we're going to get a rising bull as of tomorrow. It does look like we're starting to see some of that turn in the 10 day bullishness. 10 day bullishness, 23 day bullishness is still pretty bad. If we're looking at it, we want to say that there's opportunity here. We're just not sure exactly how long it's going to stay for or where it's coming from. Now, if we look at the trading signals, we can see we do have a sell at 179, as well as we received a sell on the 15th of March at 163. We do have a big bear, some small bears, a swift bear, a 1 month trigger bear. Now, I know you don't know what these mean because you didn't build this model and I'm just some random guy who's not giving you financial advice on YouTube, but this is one of those things that means a lot to me and I would be paying attention to it. And to be honest, if you would have bought it when it gave you that 1 month bear, I don't know if that would have been good or bad because Tesla was kind of in the shithole at that point. Oops, sorry. It wasn't in a great spot. So we've essentially gone nowhere since we got that signal, but it's been better to be shorting the rallies than it has to necessarily been looking for the ups. Now, if we go ahead and look at the overall charts, we can see here Tesla's been flirting with that 200 level. It did used to be support, did used to be resistance. Now it's hopefully something that we can use as a magnet to potentially get back to, because 200, if we're looking at the weekly, was resistance, was resistance, was support, was support, was support. Now is resistance. That's quite a concerning chart if you're honestly looking at Tesla and you're thinking that there's a long-term opportunity here in the market. When I say long-term, I'm talking like another 8 to 9 months. If we're thinking about the next 3 to 6, I don't really see why you'd be long Tesla when there's so many other things to be long in this bull market, but that's your choice. Now, if we're looking at the overall volume here, again, the concerning part is that the price is starting to just recede and the volume is starting to fade. You want to see strong volume if you're going to see a reversal, and we just don't see that at the moment. It looks like the volume is essentially fading because demand is fading and supply is rising. Now, if we look here at the volatility, it does look like the volatility is potentially about to roll over. 15.3 was the most recent high. Looks like Today we got down to, I'm not sure exactly what it is, can't highlight it at the moment, but we can see it's starting to go down a little bit. If we look at the correlation, it's negative as well. So if the volatility starts to roll over, we start to get the kind of move where it kind of gradually falls down and you get the correlation to start falling down as well. That actually would be a sideways to up motion. Now, if we look at the overall trade range, we can see that the top of the range has been coming down. That's a concern to me, to be honest, as well as it's being bearish. If we look over here specifically at where the price is, it's probably going to bounce off the bottom, but I do see that the bottom of the range, it looks like it's curling a little bit. I would love to see if we got kind of a rebound at the bottom of the range, because then the price again could go sideways to slightly up. I don't expect the trend to necessarily change, but the thing I want to point out here is that I think the most important part when you're looking specifically at this chart here is going to be the top of the range and if it's going higher, and the bottom of the range and if it's going lower. And one of the things I'm doing, and I'm pulling this out, is because one of the things I think is really important is that I love Google, and you've seen some of my other videos, but I don't necessarily trust that they're going to provide the data. So what I'm doing is I'm actually building a Chrome extension that's super lightweight, and I want to be able to give access to folks to this. What I'm going to do though, because I want to continue development and I have to make some money to be able to pay for these developers, is I've got essentially what I think are the most important aspects of this model put into this Chrome extension. It's going to be the shading of the colors on the close, on the volume. It's got the sentiment. It's got the rolling 20-day moving average. And then it has the range the way that I like to see it in the most updated version. And then it does point out the lower lows and the lower highs versus, as well as the higher lows, which if we go back in Tesla, I'm sure we'll find some. Higher lows and higher highs. This is when it's hitting higher prices. But I'm going to send this out at the end of every single day. I've got a whole new product called Evening Equity Insights. It is $25 a month, but you do get a 1 month free trial. Again, this is just some random guy on the internet. But I think that this is a very good actual instrument to be used. And I think this is going to provide a lot of value to folks because this is going to give folks a setup of ranges every single day that they can look at. And they can go look at any stock that they want themselves. Let's say you want to look at NVIDIA. You'll be able to do that and see exactly where the range is, see if the top is coming down, see if there's higher lows, things like that. And during this time when I'll be selling this for $25 a month, what you'll be receiving is every single day, you'll receive a list of all of these individual tickers with their price, their volume, their trend, their rolling 20-day moving average, the higher low, the buy bottom, which is the bottom of the range, the top, which is the top of the range, and a higher high, and some comments. I think it's a pretty great deal. But tell me what you think in the comments below. I'll talk to you soon.